I like educating people, so here's 5 things that would really help you out with going to university in Australia. First of all, we have using a calendar. Now, this is one of those things that you don't think you need until you use one, and then you're like, oh my god, how did I live without it? This is an absolute game changer because as a student, when you're studying, you've got lectures, practicals, workshops, tutorials, you've got work on top of that, you might want to hang out with your friends afterwards, and keeping track of the time you're available for and the dates you're available can be really hard without a calendar. And when you guys want to plan something, if you have everything in one place as a reference, that's when it really comes in clutch, because everything that's going on in your life is in that calendar. You can just check it and be like, oh, I'm free this day, this time, or I can move these things around, and then I'll be free. But not knowing that can be such a hectic thing. I personally started to use Google Calendar just a couple months ago, and at this point in life, if it's not in my calendar, it's not gonna happen. I even missed a practical because I scheduled it on the wrong day, and I even lost 2 marks for that. If it's not on my calendar, I really can't do anything about it, because if I don't get that notification 30 minutes before being like, oh, this is gonna happen on this day, oh, well, too bad, I'm not gonna make it. Second of all, the timeline of university. Now, this is something that surprised me when I first came here. March to June, it's the autumn semester, and from June to July, there's a 3-week vacation period, and from July to November, it's the spring semester, and pretty much December, January, and February, you pretty much have vacation. In those 3 months, you would pretty much work full-time and earn money. During a semester, there's also a mid-semester break in the 8th week, and that's a full week where you can choose to study, work, or pretty much do anything, but you have no classes at all. Speaking of classes, I have 4 units per semester, and in each of those units, there's practicals, there's lectures, there's workshops, and there's tutorials. Lectures are pretty much every week, and practicals depend on the unit. For human anatomy first year, first semester, I pretty much had 4 practicals in the whole of 3 months for the autumn semester, so they were pretty much spaced out. Workshops were almost every 2 weeks, and tutorials were like every week, but only for an hour, just to discuss what kind of happened that weekend. It's not compulsory to go to these things, but I think from July of 2023, the attendance rate is being checked, and it needs to be 85% for you to sit the final exam and for you to pass the unit. But of course, it's highly recommended that you go to the lectures and go to the practicals. Practicals are especially important. Another thing that's so good is that there's a thing called a learning guide that's posted even before the semester, which explains how the whole semester is gonna go. What that means is how many assignments you have, how much they're worth, the marking rubric for each of them, pretty much what you need to do during the semester as per like assignments and to get your marks. All of this knowledge really ties it in together to use in your calendar, because keeping track of all those practicals, tutorials, workshops, lectures, assignments, and when they're due and how much they're worth, and all of that information, once you put it into that calendar, you can really have your mind at ease because you know when everything is coming up. Third of all, be prepared for extreme mental breakdown, stress, anxiety, depression, you name it. But also look forward to the feeling of such an accomplished and fulfilled sense of pride in yourself, knowing that you're earning for yourself and you're in this whole different country and you're figuring out your path that is your very own, and you're being completely free and completely independent in a space that you just put yourself in or got thrown into, and now you're just figuring it out. It's amazing. And if you're already doing that, you should really pat yourself on the back, because it's such an incredible feat, and it's not an easy task either, because you're away from your friends and your family. You have to make new friends, and you have to find your new family, and you have to call this other place home. During that process, you do go through so many changes, so many good changes. You learn so much about yourself, you grow and you build your character in such a good way. You learn to take care of yourself, you learn to do laundry and cook for yourself and spend money, save money, earn money. Fourth thing is always be applying for jobs. It really doesn't hurt to know how to write a resume or a cover letter, or even know how to ask ChatGPT to do it for you, you know. The only thing with working for other people or certain companies is the fact that when it comes down to it, they will put their needs before yours, which doesn't really put you in the best position. I like how my bosses are probably watching this. But I know stories personally where my friend was working for a company, and in the month of January, I talk about in that video where it's kind of dead. So there's not many people in shops or anyone around really. So for the first week of January, she pretty much had shifts. She had shifts for the whole month of January. But after the first week, all those shifts got cut short. Not even cut short, just disappeared from the roster. And this makes sense from the side of the business because there's no one like coming into the store, there's no money being made. It doesn't make sense to have the casuals just running around and having to pay money to them. So it's just important to kind of have a look at that and just put yourself in the best position that you deserve to be in. Now, last of all, let's talk about the climate and actual living situation in Australia. Now, in Sri Lanka, the most of like change in clothing that I used to do was put on a hoodie if it's cold. But here, there's actual season. Summer pretty much goes on from like December to February, and then autumn starts, and then winter, and then spring. I hate winter. It's winter now. I am so unproductive because it's so cold. And most of the time, I'm just in my bed, just snuggled up, because I don't even want to get up. The sky is absolutely beautiful in autumn, and the sun goes down around like 5 p.m. whereas in summer the sun stays up till like 9:30 or 10 p.m. which doesn't feel like the day is over even at 10 p.m. And even adjusting the clothing for different seasons is amazing because like in summer you can pretty much wear short sleeves and like shorts and slippers and stuff, but in winter you wear that, you freeze to death outside. So the puffer jackets pretty much come out at May and then they go back into the closets around maybe October. But let me know if I missed anything, and make sure to like, make sure to subscribe and share it to someone who is either in Australia or who's thinking of coming to Australia, or you know is in Australia, or if you like Australia, pretty much, you know, if you're alive, hit that subscribe button and check out this video if you want to know more information about like moving to Australia and the part-time jobs here and stuff. But I'll see you in the next one.